And jump right into it. Hey Bradley, how's it going today? Hope you're having a good week so far.
Not here. Maybe Odin's down in this library.
I just don't get it. The mask. Bringing the giant that killed my sons here. Why?
I only killed one of your sons, technically.
I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. Stop letting a wife think for you. She's clouding whatever's left of your brain.
This isn't about her.
No, it's about your limitations. Accept them and move on. Now go smash something, will you? Honestly, I liked you better as a drunk. Okay, come here.
Finally figured it out. This is where you killed Amir, isn't it? First giant.
Tell me, can you murder a landslide? Smother a storm? It was more, a force of nature, a vessel of power. I was young, foolish, saw an opportunity to create something more.
How much younger could you have been?
Cool, but I did what I had to protect my own.
Why build your house here? What's in there? I'm gonna trust you.
I'm trying to tell you. In the wake of Amir's death, I saw something, the rift. Possibly the birthplace of reality. I looked inside, and something was there looking back at me. It whispered to me things I couldn't possibly comprehend, but I knew they were true. When it blinded me, I thought it was over, that I'd never see inside again. And then I found this. And I knew that it would finally let me see the answers. You see, son, I don't know where I go when I go. There's no Valhalla for me. Ragnarok cannot be the end. I need to know there's something more than this. I need to know what happens to me. And that's the truth, I swear, on my last good eye. That's the truth.
The writing on here talks about a cold breath. Breath. Wind. It's gotta be Helheim.
Helheim, you say? I'll take it. And I know just the person to accompany you.
Okay.
I'm trusting you two can handle this responsibility.
You can count on us. Don't mess this up for me.
Oh, forgot to mention. Heimdall will be joining.
Oh my god.
What a privilege. For all of us.
Oh, whoa, hold up. You don't want to walk into the blistering cold of Helheim without this. Efri-Lau should keep you nice and toasty. You're welcome.
Hello, Noel, how are you today?
Huh. Amir said even Odin couldn't survive the cold in Helheim.
You believe everything that old goat says?
Thrud, too bad your first time outside Asgard has to be to Helheim.
Nah, we're gonna make the most of this.
Now, as much as I would love to babysit, I have something else to do for the Allfather. If you run into any trouble, just scream so I know where to find your bodies.
Let's find that mask piece.
After having played to conclusion, I would rate this a 8 out of 10. Loved it quite a bit. Quite a bit, you say? I'm still waiting for the game to, you know, not to dismiss like your enjoyment of it, but I'm just personally waiting for it to just, I don't know, get good. So far, I'm still struggling to... Because it's been more disappointing and unfocused when it comes to story. That to me, if this game is choosing to focus more on story,
First off, how
it's not doing a very good job of it.
Second, I thought you didn't believe me.
Because there are bits and pieces that I like, but I'm finding more cons than pros. I did look it up, by the way, and it looks like Cory Barlog did not write or direct this. He just had some creative input. And I kind of feel that that quality is noticeable as a drop.
Here's your chance.
For the record, I believe you fought the Valkyries. I just don't believe it was Grandfather who corrupted them, or that he caused the desolation in Midgard, or that he had all the giants killed. Am I missing anything?
Lots actually.
I mean, you may not believe it, but there are certainly a lot of people who can testify otherwise. And I'll get my thoughts sorted out when we finish the game. Like, before we watch other people's reviews of it, like I requested last time, I'll go ahead and post my own review here during the credits, like we often do during stream. So I'll basically say everything I think I want to say about this game. Good and bad.
I got this!
What? I'm just supposed to watch? No way! Wow, really good.
I gotta say, I don't think these warriors are very hard to beat.
They're not.
Well, what other heinous crimes has my grandfather committed?
Let's see. He decimated Vanaheim, tortured Tyr, murdered Groa, murdered Ymir. Goes on and on.
Interesting. And where'd you hear all this?
Freya and Mimir told me.
Oh, so his traitorous ex-wife and a bitter former advisor. Got it.
Look, you don't believe me, but
No, I don't. Either you're full of crap, or you're a hypocrite for helping him. Can we just focus on the mission?
Yeesh. The only reason I didn't rate it a perfect 10 on account of how drastically different some characters were compared to how they were portrayed. I mean, The way I'm reviewing it is, first I like to put things in a relative position. If this is going to be a third-person action-adventure game with a heavy story focus, we're going to examine those gameplay elements, the framing structure of the levels, the level design itself, combat, of course, which is the action majority part of it, and the actual majority of the game itself, which is the story and its presentation. So far, the presentation is okay. But there are qualms I have about both the flow of combat, the story itself, as well as like multiple continuity issues that are within the God of War franchise itself.
This is where the mask said to go?
let's double back. We'll find a way around. See? More Hellwalkers. That means we're headed the right way. Do a rock drop.
You want some of this? Whoa, you can turn into a
Why does the lighting saturation go up so high when I turn into a wolf?
Well, there's a big hole up there now. Could be our way around. Maybe we
I got
can use the big.
He's embarrassing himself.
Sure you do.
Hey, we're okay, right?
I guess. Maybe our families are just meant to be enemies.
Well, not us. I don't believe that. What I do believe is that you'll make a great Valkyrie. I'll tell your mom the same thing, even if she scares the life out of me.
That means a lot. Thanks.
I think it's funny that Loki is weaker than the only 4 women he's ever encountered in his life, which is his mother, Freya, Angrboda, and Thrud. He's only ever met 4 females in his entire life, and he's just a noodle-armed, limp weakling physically compared to all of them.
No way through up here either. Now what?
I'm not sure. But my gut's telling me what we need is here. Yeah.
It fell through the floor.
Could be our way up. Let's head back down and find out.
Hey Melfina, how are you today? Nova, you're playing Strangers of Paradise Origins? Nice.
Now we go right.
Into a group of Hellwalkers. Let's get them. Whoa! What is that?
A revenant! I'll slow it down for you!
Nah, I got this. Very, very sweet. Let's go.
Because when it comes to my rating scale, you guys know I like using the tier system. No pun
What's the
intended.
mask say?
So, the mask's pull is a little weird with all these buildings in a way, but I think we're going the right way.
You think?
And every game starts at, you know, average, which is C, and moves up or down from there based on the needle. And this game was moving upwards. Like, it was C+ is kind of where I started it, just due to initial production values. Like, you have to give credit where credit's due. And it moved up a little bit more based on that in terms of the variety of gameplay we saw with Atreus being added in. And it was kind of moving that C plus B minus range. But then what we saw, especially in the last session, the last, like, 2 to 3 realms, and the last couple of story beats that we did, especially with Kratos, so the Kratos sections, this game absolutely dropped down into the back into the sea, because that was absolutely atrocious writing. and the level design was embarrassingly bad.
Nightmare! Careful, Loki! You okay? Wait, so this way?
Sure.
The story is also at odds with itself, with it desperately trying to include Kratos, but at the same time, it's also wishing to enforce a weaker, both mentally and physically, Kratos, which is very bizarre. It's almost mean-spirited, I would say. Like, there are multiple times I can see when this game should be rewritten to be tighter, smarter, and more involved with itself, and it's just simply not.
Mask?
Looks like it's through here.
Let me get that for you. Okay, this thing is really fighting me. See anything in there?
Not
There.
Nice! Whatever you shot crashed through the floor again. Let's head back and check it out. So, I talk about my mom a lot. What's your dad like?
He's intense. Like he's trying to force me into this mold. But I'm not sure that's me.
Oof. Well, I know exactly what that's like.
Thing is, I don't know what I want. I love that you do.
You'll figure it out.
Whoa!
Okay, that's a big one. More of them! Come on, Loki, try to keep up!
That guy just stood there and took it.
The rush! Never normal.
No, it doesn't.
Mom's gonna have a real tough time keeping me in Asgard after this.
Why exactly did Odin nominate her to chaperone me here, I wonder? Like, Heimdall I get, but why her?
Which way?
The mask showed it was straight ahead earlier. Of course the way's blocked.
Maybe they're trying to keep people out. Or something. Sweet!
So, how'd you know you wanted to be a Valkyrie?
I didn't always. After a bad fight with Mom, I snuck out and found them training. Somehow every movement they made had such purpose, like they knew exactly where they needed to be. And in that moment, so did I.
Looks like it's through here.
So training gave me...
Too heavy?
Shut up! Someone's blocking it.
I'll take a look, but I want to hear the rest.
Deal. Seeing these arms?
Not bad.
I know. As I was saying, seeing the Valkyries fight, all strength and style, no apologies, it gave me clarity. For the first time, I saw my path forward. Clear as day.
Too bad giants have to follow prophecy.
Who cares? Make your own path, just like we've been doing here.
Strangers of Paradise, Elknola, is the reimagining slash remake of Final Fantasy 1. It's all from the perspective of Garland.
Now let's see. Step aside, little man. This one's stuck too, but I feel it weakening. I can feel it. It's definitely budging.
I mean, she said she's got this, so...
I can feel it. It's definitely budging.
Nah, she's almost got it. It's fine. We'll just walk away.
Maybe got it.
Sure looks like it.
Bring it on! Not bad. Guess you make a good team.
Yeah.
Where to now?
I guess that means we come back here as Kratos.
I wish we could get past that stupid crate.
Looks like it's through here. But it's blocked.
What if I move this? Aha! Can you get up there? See if you can find a way to cut the crate down on the other side. I'll wait here. I don't have a fancy way up like you do.
Got it.
I mean, can't you just jump with your big muscles? Or jump on top of the crate that you just pushed? Or I could lower the rope that I used to, you know, let myself up here. Or you can use one of those boxes to form stairs to jump up on the crate. I mean, I really feel like you have options here. And you're just kind of arbitrarily choosing not to get up here. But whatever. That would require a good
Besides
level
you lewd
design,
about her
right?
grandfather, she should know the truth, right? Yeah, guess so.
Hey, you talking to me?
No. Just talking to Ingrid.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting.
I'm hitting that. Alright.
Can I get a better view of that crate?
Ooh, a runic summon. So that was just straight up damage.
You did it!
Better get back.
Hey, what's going on out there? You okay?
I got it!
Got it, boy, Loki. Mess them up!
The Alpha!
The game also has a lot of load times. I'm actually kind of surprised that no one I've ever talked to
The
about
mask is
this
freaking
game
out.
kind of
We
brings
must
that
be
up.
close.
Like, for as much as people don't like loading times, they sure do have a lot of load times here. You may be thinking, I don't see any load screens. No, I don't think you understand. They're disguising the load screens, but they're still doing the purpose of a load screen, which is to stop what you're doing and to load. Every time you have a small climbing section, a small crawling section, a small shimmying section, a slow walking section, a boat rowing section, a extravagant door opening animation, all of those are load screens. And there are a lot of load screens in this game that it really kind of staggers up the pacing a lot to a noticeable degree. Which is weird to me because this game isn't more open than the last game. It's actually way more hallways. It's way more hallways between fighting arenas.
We gotta get out of here.
The mask. We're so close. Besides, I don't think it's dangerous.
Are we looking at the same thing? Maybe. He's locked up for a good reason.
No, I can talk to
Few
wolves,
ways
it's
beyond.
good.
It's a giant thing. Look, he just wants to be free. The peace must be behind him. Trust me.
All right. Let's start with the lock not near its teeth.
And every time you have a combat arena, it's always a big, wide open, like circular area. It's all the same. So it's not like the game's loading all that much, yet it has a lot of load to it. I'm surprised nobody brings that up, like how much loading there is here, for how little it actually loads.
Sleeper. Let's do the next. All right. There.
Looks like there was another one under his foot.
Welcome. mutt.
Let's look in the chamber he was guarding.
Oh, that kind of worked out. And for as much as people criticize
Please tell me it's down in the water.
glorified hallway walking
It's not
sims,
responding
this
to me.
game qualifies
never
for that,
happened.
but
You
people
said
don't.
trust you. And we let that thing loose.
But people
Grandfather's
don't
gonna
really
kill me.
criticize this
You gotta
game
get
for
out of
that,
here,
which is
come
very
on.
strange to me. It seems like it's a very heavy-handed double standard. Because this game is absolutely
Maybe we missed it. Maybe it's back
a glorified hallway section.
It's gonna be okay.
How can you say that?
With less interesting gimmicks in 2018, which is partly why I said earlier, it's a step down when it comes to level design. Because this is Helheim. This is supposed to be their frozen hell. What exactly has been here that has really been
You
significant of that?
unqualified moron. You know that thing tears holes between realms, right? Well, I suppose I should expect nothing less from half-breeds.
Don't call me a half.
I will call you whatever I like, Junior.
Leave him alone. It was a mistake.
No! The mistake was allowing you to think that you were ready. You helped him, didn't you? What side are you on anyway? Guppy?
Try me and find out.
Heimdall talks a lot of shit,
Oh.
but I get the feeling he's not actually all that strong.
And what are...
Like, he's super fast, and he's very proud of, like, his ability.
You see, everyone takes it easy on you because they are afraid of your father. I am not. That fat, drunken, utter piece of trash! Hey!
Again!
Yes, yes, the dumb does not fall far from the tree. Very well, then.
You know what she could do for somebody like that who's very quick? Like, Thor could coat the entire area with lightning, and it doesn't matter how fast you are if you're moving from one unsafe area to another unsafe area.
Your family is. And
Or she could coat herself with lightning, so every time he punched her, he would just get shocked. Or Atreus could spam the area with his runic arrows. And so again, it doesn't matter how fast he is, he would just be running from one landmine to another. Like, there's ways to beat speedy people like that. And that's just to create a bunch of hazards, which both of them could probably do.
please do not let
So everyone, like, gives, like, he's talking a lot of shit, but he has a really obvious weakness.
so close.
Stop. He just wants to make you mad.
Yeah? Well, it worked.
She almost had the right idea there. Which he can see things, but if he's not paying attention,
Boring.
then he won't be able to see it.
If you are finished throwing your little tantrum, we should go now. Because I cannot wait to watch you explain this mess to the Allfather.
You know what they should do? They should go back to the Allfather and gang up on him and both point to him saying it was his fault. And then Heimdall will be like, it's not, they're both lying. It's like, no, both of us saw you. You let that dog free. I don't know why you chose to do that, man. That was a really bad call. It would be 2 versus 1. Let's see him smart-ass talk his way through that.
Damn, he's not here. Let's check his study.
He can read minds? I mean, it doesn't matter if you can read minds.
Father will have my
Like, if
back.
I fill the entire room with magic, you can read my mind all you want. You're gonna know that like, there's nothing you can do.
And you.
Like, just because he can read minds doesn't give him the ability to successfully counteract anything you have planned.
It keeps me up at night.
Whatever.
No.
Also, I doubt he can read more than one mind at a time. So if, like, enough people are around him, I get the feeling that they could overwhelm him. And there's clearly got to be a range on his mind reading, because he can't read, like, literally every single person's mind in the entire world. He doesn't have that ability.
Fine. It's all on me. Just leave her out of it.
I don't need your help, Loki.
Sorry.
Save it for the Allfather.
have a lot to discuss.
Loki, I'll meet you in your room when I'm finished here. Shouldn't be long.
Okay.
My mission went quite well, Allfather. Secured the item we've discussed. The mask, on the other hand, well, they are merely children. The adults need to talk now, Loki. Run along and play. Maybe if you just...
Thanks a lot.
Thrud,
I don't want to hear it. Everything was fine until you showed up.
He's
I'll
just
make it up to
projecting.
you, I swear.
He doesn't owe her anything. She volunteered.
What do you think is happening? She hates me, Thor. My little girl. You can't keep undermining me like that. Training her behind my back?
She's gonna do what she wants. Wouldn't you rather I at least help? Know where she's going, keep her safe.
No, I'd rather us be a team. I'd like you to back me up for once. You're ruining what little relationship I have left with her.
I'm doing the best I can to keep this family together.
If that were true, you'd stand up to your father for once in your life.
I feel like a lot of this drama is written a little too modernly. That's one thing I kind of have a problem with.
What kind of example am I setting? Seems the only thing I can do right these days is destroy everything around me.
Like, a lot of this is written like a soap opera right here. This is written with modern dialect, tone, references, things like that. It almost feels like people are choosing, like whoever the writers were on this, which there was 2 of the 3 people who wrote the last one. They're choosing to write this dialogue like it's a modern day drama, and that's noticeably different than, say, the tone that was in the previous game, which is pretty much all the characters were written like they are in this Norse mythology setting. And they speak with that same sort of grandeur, a very prose-like way of speaking. Especially people like Mimir or even the dwarves and stuff like that. But a lot of the people here, they talk like they're from, I don't know,
Ingrid,
Midwestern United States.
before you came here, someone who took care of you?
That's what I mean, like the dialogue in this game is kind of
Maybe I could
worse.
help you find them without...
They're trying to evoke senses of drama and feelings from these sensations. Like, oh, well, Thor's just a drunken guy who's, you know, still trying to please his dad, and that's translated to a more broken family because his 2 sons and his daughter are all trying to do the same thing, please their parents. And they're, you know, 2 of his sons are dead, obviously. He beat one of his kids. He's still viewed as a mess and a failure all around, despite he's really powerful and he's done a lot of stuff. He doesn't have any confidence. His wife beats him up verbally, you know, and he's just trying to be a dad, trying to keep the family together and all that. It's like you're adding a lot of modern drama in a way that doesn't feel natural for the way it's being delivered and the setting that we're in. Not that we're saying that there wasn't family drama in this Norse mythology. It's just that it's being presented in unnatural ways that I can't find myself empathizing with. Like, this, again, is being written like a Norse soap opera. Like, it's a soap opera that people happen to be wearing Norse costumes in. But they're not actually feel like this is like Norse mythology.
I'd like to hear it from you. What happened?
It wasn't there. I was wrong.
Well, we all make mistakes, huh? But freeing Garm, that was a big one. Chaos is already spilling out into the other realms. We're safe here in Asgard, but everywhere else.
I think I want to go home now.
Okay, if that's what you want. I meant it when I said you're not a prisoner here. It's your choice.
Is that Odin? Yes, this regular dude with a regular, normal American accent is Odin.
But before you go, I'll need the mask back. It's not that I don't trust you, you understand? It's the company you keep.
Wasn't Odin Turkish originally? I really am not too sure. But the fact that they didn't even try to have like a slightly European accent for any of them.
Please, we need to go.
Poor Ingrid. Ingrid is currently the best girl in this entire adventure.
Loki, when you do decide you're ready to continue our work here, Hugin will be waiting for you in your old home. You screwed up. Doesn't change the fact that you're welcome here. Oh, and say hi to Mimir for me.
It does make you wonder though,
I
why
thought I'd be so relieved to be back here.
Odin
You're
specifically.
staying. You might be waiting a while.
That's okay, he's a magic crow. It makes you wonder why specifically Odin was seeking his mother.
Of course. Better use the Mystic Gateway quick.
Because yeah, he was like the last giant that he knew of, you know, that he could talk to besides Jormungandr.
Dang, Garm. How did I screw up
But he
so
didn't
bad?
specifically need a giant. I think he just wanted somebody who may have known something about this relic. And the prophecies, and he wanted that ability. Because despite being half giant, apparently Thor doesn't have the ability of prophecy.
Guess it's time to face it. No running away this time.
Which is weird. Because even Loki
Almost home.
has abilities of
It's gonna be
prophecy.
fine.
Doesn't happen, it's not as
Everything's
strong, it's
fine.
not on demand, but he still has them. Maybe he has to wait for Thor as well. Maybe he just very rarely has dreams of prophecy. Thomas, as a person from Nordic country, it's extremely funny to hear Nordic names and stuff said in an American accent. Oh, I believe you. Trust me. There is so much, even as an American, I'm fully aware of how much butchering is done on Nordic, Gaelic, Indian, or like names of like, you know, Germanic, those sort of names. Like, I am fully aware how incredibly awful it gets butchering. It's almost comical. Like, as Americans, we often butcher it. The problem is that you can't teach people different. So like once people learn like the wrong way of saying something, they just kind of like normalize it. So it's always going to be that way. And you can't teach them different. Trust me. Trust me. Same with video games too. Man, that lunge is faster than I expect. It's because our clumsy American tongues aren't familiar with the characters. There we go. Like, people take their best guess. What if I told you that most Americans can't even speak English properly? Would that really surprise you? There are plenty of people that butcher our own native tongue, so like, it's really whatever.
Tell me when!
I wonder if I don't do anything. Can I fail this?
Father!
Off your back.
So you can't actually fail any of the events in this game. Interesting, so I can use a wrath thing to do like a heavy attack. That's interesting. doesn't take too much meter. That could be worth it.
Is it over?
No thanks to you.
Where is Atreus?
Atreus. Has the runaway returned and brought all this with him?
My theory right now is that Tyr is mind controlled by Odin, and that's why he's driving a wedge between Kratos and Atreus.
You're bleeding.
That would explain all the sus way he's been acting. Even now, he conveniently missed the entire battle. That literally everybody, I guess he was just in the toilet for a while. Conveniently missed everything. Nah. This dude's a mole. Tyr's a mole. He's mind controlled.
What do I call you?
He didn't answer his question. But the tonal shift of this game as well, I realized it when I was writing a script and doing the final editing for God of War 2018, the recap for it, which should be out later this week. I'm really, really close to it. And that is the assertive way that Kratos presents himself, the choice of words that he has, the manner with which he talks to everyone. You don't see that here at all.
Yes, it is.
Kratos, we are watching Kratos watch someone else do all the stuff in this game, and that I think is part of the reason why it's not fundamentally that interesting.
Great bleeding fuck, lad. You freed Garm.
Garm? Who freed Garm? That's madness. Surely not you, young one.
If the Hound of Hell is loose, he'll choose with the
And Mimir's another one. Mimir used to speak with such melodic tones, like he would.
This is a fuck up of not insignificant proportions.
Yeah, see, like Mimir right now is written to constantly complain. He's constantly complaining and criticizing in this game. When in the previous game, he was often very cheerful. He would provide counsel, provide a different perspective, even if he didn't necessarily agree with things. He was a lot more calm. But throughout this game, Mimir is written to be very overly emotional.
Mind, I'd rather stay here. I've had my fill of visits to Helheim.
See, he's so sour in this game. They wrote like Kratos and Mimir very differently in this game. And I only realized it again because I just went through 2018 again, and jumping back to here, I can directly compare the two. It's very fresh in my head. And it's distracting because I'm watching two different people.
One problem. I'm not sure I have a way back to Elon.
Perhaps the squirrel does.
I need to speak with you at once. At once.
Also about the pronunciations. That's another thing, Thomas. I used to get in trouble. People called me out saying pronunciations. In America, it's not called pronunciations. Pronunciation is pronounced pronunciation in America. And I used to throw me off because here's the thing. My mom's British. And she's always said pronunciation. And so I always grew up saying pronunciation. People said, you know, it's pronunciation, right? I'm like, that can't be true. And then I look it up and in the dictionary, it is pronunciation. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, how is that? Also, we were having a battle on this tree, and Ratatoskr was just chilling out doing jack shit. Just want to point out. Some defender of the world tree.
And if you must imperil the fabric of reality in the future, please do the courtesy of notifying me. Well,
But yeah, the writing of Kratos and Mimir is absolutely weaker
Sindri, you okay?
and distractingly more unfocused. I think it's a polite way of saying it. I'm trying not to use like words like it's bad. Like there's more nuanced ways we can describe this.
Can't you see my head pounding?
Ooh, I do like more stun. Let's roll with that.
I'll heat up the forge.
A good fit.
Ooh, I like this. I really like that. Because I like using runic attacks a lot. Damn it, I just upgraded this too. I wish it said like it has a luck chance, but then you look at the... Oh, so base chance must be 10%. As long, I guess if the base chance is 10%, that means that if my luck is plus 23, then that means I have a 23% chance, which is kind of worth it, actually. I'll craft it next time. I really like that ability. That looks good. For somebody like me who likes to use runic attacks, that looks good. But I don't know if I want Wrath. I'll still use Fury. Alright. Is there something here that increases stun? Increases stun, alright. Because honestly, stunning things is way more cost effective versus doing straight damage.
Well, I see that whole stop something bad from happening plan worked just like magic.
Kratos being a Spartan seems a bit forgotten. It's forgotten and all, but the most convenient parts were like, a spear is a Spartan's first weapon. It's like, that would be cool. But you know what would be more cool? If your son picked up the spear, and then when you looked at him, you're like, oh man, he's growing up to a Spartan. I don't even need to be there. That would have been a lot more of a heartfelt moment. But yeah, like, the writing in the scenario build-up for half of this game so far, it's not good. It's actually just not good. And I am just flabbergasted that I see people left, right, and center being, this story is amazing, it goes in ways you don't predict. Yeah, I honestly didn't predict it would be as misguided, poorly written, and honestly as boring as it has been. I am absolutely impressed by their ability to surprise me with that. So which perks do I need to upgrade these? I guess the ones marked with a diamond stuff? I don't know. There have been many steps backwards so far for this game, as I'm discovering more and more as we play.
Try not to fuck up.
Shut up.
Aren't you gonna, you know, reprimand me?
No. I am relieved. You are safe.
Okay. Wow. Maybe I should run away more often.
Atreus.
Kidding.
I know, Trace. It is very uncharacteristic,
So
right?
where'd the new spear come from?
Brock made it. From Dropnir.
What's that?
A ring.
But what's its story?
I do not know. You were not there to ask.
Have you been gaming anything else other than this recently? Finishing up just some backlog stuff. Bouncing between wrapping up the final season of Destiny 2, which is the last week, so I'm doing a bunch of cleanup stuff because the new stuff starts next week, which I'm really excited for. Doing more recording for Final Fantasy 14. Getting ready for Pokemon. Just finishing up some other stuff on my Switch. Let's see, I want to do a playthrough of Plague Tale.
Atreus.
Yeah, because I really enjoyed the other one.
He was chained up for a really long time. We can't hurt him, okay?
A desperate creature can be the most dangerous.
I know. Come on, we gotta get across before he opens up more realm tears.
And other than that, just honestly working on videos.
Wind powers? Cool.
Did Odin ask you to free that creature?
What? No. Why?
Are you not working with him?
It's not what you think.
Whatever he promised, he cannot be trusted.
I don't. But he has something I need. It's hard to explain.
And this nonsense, this classic TV drama trope of you wouldn't understand if I told you, this artificial like drama of these easily resolved problems, but people refuse to talk them out.
On your left! Watch your right! We gotta get up there. This ice is in the way.
I will handle him.
Still didn't work.
I see that.
Oh.
Another perspective, maybe. Something you missed. Falca!
Actually, am I doing this wrong?
The wind from your wings.
Oh, we gotta do all three at the same time. How come it still wouldn't let me like crush one part of it at a time? It's kind of arbitrary, personally.
Whoa! That looks cold! Behind you!
Too cold. I notice I'm fighting level 4 and 5 things, but I think I'm still level 4. I need to upgrade better.
We gotta get up there. This ice is in the way.
I will handle it. Your work for Odin. You said it is hard to explain. Why?
I just need you to trust me. I know I have no right to ask. Can you anyway?
What does he have that you need? Why can you not tell me?
It's also when I don't know much about Nordic mythology, but I do eat up anything God of War. This title freaking rocks a lot to you.
I thought you didn't want war.
To me, Ragnarok is a very different tonal shift from 2018, which was already a different tonal shift from most of the series so far. I think the tonal shift transition to 2018 was much smoother, like smoothly done. Like both as a believable jumping off point as well as reintroduction point for Kratos, and introducing us to new characters such as Atreus and Mimir and Freya. But Ragnarok's basically continuation of those characters has gone in a bizarre direction for almost everyone involved except for probably Freya.
That is good to hear.
And it happens a little bit faster than I would expect for 3 years of transition time.
Realm tear. Garm's been busy. I think I understand how Freya closed one. Keep the enemies away.
And again, I think it is a little distracting too when you consider that the level design, the story pacing, and the combat so far is a step either to the side or a step back from what they decided to do in 2018.
Ski off! Lassa, Lifa. Lassa, Lifa. Lassa, Lifa. Do better. Almost got it. Fast off. We'll have to keep an eye out for more. Thanks for coming back with me. You didn't have to.
I am your father. I will always help, as long as I am able.
Well, that's good to hear too.
Tell me, what were you doing in Asgard?
I was translating things for Odin.
Because I do have a problem with them writing Kratos to be a very frightened father. He's constantly frightened, confused, looking for guidance to others. Gone is his strange self-confidence gained from, oh, I don't know,
We're still friends.
decades and decades and decades and decades of being in, like, tough situations and thinking his way through, using his own mental discipline that he preaches, falling back on his years of guiding and raising others.
Let's just figure out how the skate works.
Strangely, none of that is leveraged here. He's basically written like a guy who's a bumbling father who's basically struggling to pay the bills and raise a teenage son at the same time. It's strangely written to me in a very unattractive way.
Here's blocked when the gate is up.
What are you thinking?
Maybe we can use my new arrows. We can chain elements.
Yes, I'm aware of that game. I just botched it. Relax.
Elka! I think we're gonna need more than one sigil.
How am I not hitting that? That is strangely sensitive. Dude, Kratos, back off, thank you.
Another! To the left!
Oh, that's right, I can't do any of that.
Switching arrows! Break his guard! Stop it. This is all my fault. See a notch in the pillar here that your spear could probably fit. You need a better angle. Break its guard!
Remember in the last game said that frost axes are useless against these reavers because they're made of ice? Clearly the game does not follow. You know, I guess Fimbulwinter is, like I said, it must be Fimbulwinter. Like, remember when we went into Helheim and we couldn't use the Leviathan X because its ice magic was completely useless? But here we are, I'm using my Leviathan Axe because it works just like anything else because this game doesn't follow its own continuity. Yep, that guy sure was immune to ice magic. I was actually looking at him because I'm like, is he gonna do anything? Damn, someone's still alive. Was there a change of leadership between this and the old? Absolutely. So, Cory Barlog took over for writing and directing a God of War versus Jaff. I can't remember what the rest of his name was, but Jaff is what we'll just continue calling him. Jaff is the one who you remember for the original God of War trilogy. Then Cory Barlog took over for 2018, took Kratos in a much, you know, kinder and gentler direction, but at the same time, it was an understandable thing. What made 2018 so good was it had a great balance of mixing the old with moving in a drastically new direction. So there were parts where it honored the past of God of War. It remembered who Kratos and his history was because that was a big part of his development. It intertwined the storylines between multiple characters, and it introduced new ones in a new world setting where it made sense, where it was safe to basically start over. Ragnarok is not under either of those two guys. It's a completely different guy named Eric Williams. And it's very clear that he's writing this this game as a TV soap opera. And I'm fundamentally opposed to that. There is artificially and very cheaply written drama here. The writing is a step down in both quality and consideration of its characters and the legacy of his game so far. You have to remember, this is the 9th mainline God of War. You can't just ignore the 8 games before it, like this game is trying to make you forget. It doesn't care if you played the previous 8 games, that's not a prerequisite. But it does have little winks if you have, but more importantly, it's writing it as if you've never played them, which is banking on because there are a lot of things that frankly don't make sense. There's a lot of filler in this game too. Filler that does not matter. This game is horribly bloated. It does not respect your time. And I would be okay with filler if it was fun or interesting, but a lot of this filler is not fun or interesting. And like I said before, this game is not about Kratos. Ragnarok is about Atreus.
Behind you! Incoming! Through here.
You see how tactically advanced I was, even though the guy's a level above me? So far, I've been able to overcome pretty much every obstacle in this game. You know, assume it doesn't catch me off guard and kick my ass with spamming runic attacks and light attacks.
We are in agreement.
So, one of the criticisms in the last game, combat-wise, was it was very repetitive with its enemy usage and especially its mini-boss usage. Now, for mini-boss usage, absolutely. You fight like 17 trolls. It's absurd. It's very boring. But with the enemy design, that's okay that you have fodder enemies like the Draugr over and over, and I'll tell you why. What the fuck was that guy all about? And I'll tell you why, because when you first fight the Draugr in God of War 2018, it takes like 6 to 7 hits to kill one, you know? And your whole thing would be, well, he hasn't really been training for like a decade. Just because you're immortal doesn't mean you have like perfect muscles that last forever. He slacked off on his training, you know? But as he got, you know, better, as he improved the Leviathan axe, he wasn't using the Blades of Chaos, you know, he was out of shape, more or less, I guess you could argue. Killing those same Draugr later in the game, like, you could basically go down from, like, you know, like, 3 attacks, and then eventually one-shotting them. And in that purpose, using the same enemies over and over, but in just higher quantities, and even toughness is okay because you feel that scale of progress, you feel that scale of power, that power fantasy is being fulfilled as you notice that the enemies that you took a while to kill before are now dying left, right, and center, to where you're just throwing your axe and things are dying in front of you. That is a proper escalation when you're using fighting enemies. There is no such pattern here. Even though they're recycling enemies, pretty much any given enemy at any given point can absolutely body you in Ragnarok. It's a surprisingly Dark Souls-esque, to use a modern trope, methodology, where for some reason there's a high level lethality even in the most common fodder, and there's not really good explanation for that. So at no point do you indulge in the power fantasy of God of War in a God of War game. That tonal shift is not appropriate. Enemies also have way too much health, and I'll tell you why that's a problem. Because every enemy only has 3 or 4 attacks, and so before you really notice too much of it, you see how enemies have like unstunnable attacks that basically will kill off half your life bar? Why are we worried about unavoidable attacks? Ah, shit. I have to dodge roll to the side. You don't really need to have that. The combat pacing and design of this was clearly trying to mimic Dark Souls. And I don't believe that was to the benefit. Like, Dark Souls and God of War combat are two very different animals that fulfill different desires in the character. You play Dark Souls combat because you enjoy seeing highly repetitious enemies and understanding, having the patience and precision to overcome being at the skin of your teeth. Like, you get that from that adaptation and overcoming. God of War is supposed to be a power fantasy where you're mowing through things as this literal god against, like, puny immortals and undead. You see how many times that has, like, homing, unstoppable, unblockable attacks? This is a Dark Souls boss. Completely unstunnable, all that shit. Whoa, did you see I was moving towards Atreus?
Throw your axe at the glowy thing!
Yeah, plot hole or inconsistency, just blame Fimbulwinter. That is infuriating to no degree. They use Fimbulwinter as a just catch-all hand-waving for any inconsistencies you see between this game and the last game. That is terrible. Terrible writing. And the part that makes me probably the most sad is the fact that a lot of people do think this is very good writing, which makes me weep because it means that all the genuinely better writing that's out there is wasted on people that can't tell the difference. It makes me so depressed. And the story of this could be so much better. It could be written with so much less bloat. So much less bloat. And it would actually be a stronger story here.
Guess sigil arrows don't work on that.
They see, magically sigil arrows do not work on this stone surface. Why? Who knows? Must be Fimbulwinter. Idiotic.
I think my arrows will stick to the wood up there.
Yes, I know, because everything's arbitrary in this game.
Let's go.
And that's why when you talk to certain people, like, the story in this is so good, it's so amazing, and you want to be like, it's actually quite mid, and it's also poorly told and framed. And you're like, that's not true, it's the best one I've ever seen. And you don't know their personal experience. Maybe that is true for them. But that's just a comment based on relativity. Like, if you eat cheeseburgers every single day and somebody serves you filet mignon, like, you can't tell what's good at that point because you're so used to low standards. And that's not meant as an insult. It's just meant that you don't have enough variety in your diet to have the nuance to tell what is actually good and what is actually bad, and what actually is the many shades of gray in between.
I make no promises, but I will try not to kill the beast.
Easy example. So let's take Final Fantasy, popular example. A lot of people have only played maybe 3 or 4 Final Fantasy games. The average person, I notice, for people who I talk to or comment on my videos or things like that. Almost nobody I've seen has played all 30 some odd Final Fantasy games like I have. So when somebody wants to make a broad statement on the Final Fantasy franchise, if they're talking from a perspective of only, like, say 5, maybe, let's be generous, 6 or 7 games, versus somebody who has a perspective of somebody who has, 20, 30 games under their belt. And does that mean that the person who has more games under their belt has a more valid opinion? It's not about being valid or not. It's simply about the perspective with which somebody's making their expert opinion on. And that lack of contextualization is what's important. Like, when I comment on the combat of God of War, I can comment it on all action games, which would be too broad. That's not really specific enough for what this game's trying to accomplish. Or we can examine it from the perspective of third-person over-the-shoulder games, which there are many examples of. Makes it a lot more relevant to compare. And even, oops. Totally not paying attention. Another food example I like to give is, say you're a food critic who actually does eat cheeseburgers. If somebody comes into town, they're like, oh, dude, you gotta eat at, like, Cheeseburger Max Place. He has the best cheeseburgers ever. And you go to Cheeseburger Max Place, and he's like, okay, he serves okay cheeseburgers. And you're like, what do you mean okay? It's the best I've ever had. But say that person's only never left that town. They've only ever eaten Cheeseburger Max cheeseburgers. Meanwhile, you're a food critic who's eaten at over 200 cheeseburger places. Is either statement really less factual? No. Both opinions are valid, but it's the context that basically differentiates them. One is coming from a position of a lot more experience, but both are still valid. And that's where people kind of get up in arms about, because they kind of feel like one person has to be right, which means the other person has to be wrong. If one person is right, the other person can also be right. They can just be right from a different perspective. And they can perhaps speak to it from a position of, you know, a lot more detail, a lot more experience, a lot more points of reference with which to make their point, with which to rate things with some level of relativity, because they have standards they can measure against. That's what it means. Believe it or not, you can, like, both sides of a disagreement can be correct. It's amazing how many people just refuse to acknowledge that. Like, no, if one side's right, the other side has to be wrong. Both of you can be right.
But you're not talking about Varm.
You cannot outsmart Odin.
It's worked so far.
So you think.
Now what?
I'm gonna try to tame it.
Tame it.
Sure. I've tamed wolves before.
So he's gonna gain this wolf as a familiar. Should be interesting. Did you see that guy just ignore all the shit and just beeline straight to me? That's why it's so juvenile when you come across the atypical internet arguments like, well, which is your favorite game of a particular series? Like, what's your favorite God of War game? What's your favorite God of War game? And like the other person is basically feeling you out to see if there's some level of bond you can have, where if somehow if you enjoy the same game, then that's some sort of pretext for a relationship or even friendship. When at the same time, you can both like the same game for different reasons, just like you can like two different games for the same reasons, or like or dislike games for the same reason. He's gonna turn to a wolf and speak wolf to him. See, so we went through an entire game where Kratos was learning to trust Atreus to make his own decisions, especially in the heat of battle, to the point where Kratos was genuinely impressed multiple times with Atreus' quick thinking in both Tyr's temple and when they were fighting the dragon. But over here, he's once again down to fretting and not trusting his son. Oh, he said he wants the chain, right? What's considered the end of his chain? The collar? Oh, this. Okay, that chain. But now he magically doesn't trust Atreus after spending like 4 years with this kid in battle-heavy situations. See, the writing doesn't pay attention to itself. It ignores all the progress and undermines the relationship these characters already made. Like this writing is going backwards.
Next time, we do it my way.
Kratos, by the way, who was strong enough to one-arm a dragon in the last game, who was strong enough to push the entire tier temple, you know, struggles to hold a leash. It's like the writers, even though they were participating in the last game, didn't pay attention to the game they were writing. Good lord. I wonder if it's because of the director, but the writers have a big part of this as well. And that's what I'm talking about. The characterization of this game is just straight up worse. And it's puzzling why. Well, it's not puzzling, it's very clear. But it's puzzling why they went with this.
Gotcha!
Like, tell me if I'm not making sense. I understand a couple of you in chat have already finished this game. And that's, you know, fantastic. Which is why I can ask for your perspective on this as well.
Why didn't that work? You didn't mess up on purpose, did you?
He does not trust.
Sorry, that wasn't fair. I thought it would work.
Patience. We will find a way.
Bradley, I've wanted to get into the Souls games Bloodborne, but the elitist attitude the community has turns me right off.
There is always a way.
It's funny, too, because the FromSoft crowd hasn't played most FromSoft games. Like, they haven't played Enchanted Arms, they haven't played Armored Core, but they want to consider themselves FromSoft fans. They're more specifically Souls fans. And yes, there is absolutely a toxic level of elitism that's among them, because there can be excellence without that elitism that they attempt to portray. And the excellence comes from the people that unironically do say, get good. Because that actually is the way to make Souls games easier, is to quote-unquote get good. The methodology with which you patiently...
My arrows will slow her down!
How come my magical infinite spear can't slow her down?
Whoa! That looks cold!
Because the more, like, Dark Souls is basically, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's an old school game made with modern day conventions. Because old school, like, action games were made to where you couldn't just rush into something mashing the attack button. And if you messed up, you don't go to a checkpoint, regenerate your health, things like that. With Dark Souls, like, when you die most likely because of things you did, unless it's like Sekiro where the game actively cheats. And if you are patient and you observe the enemy, notice its patterns, execute with precision your counterattack to it. Once you learn to read an enemy, that enemy is forever easy to you because you understand exactly where it's going to hit, how it's going to hit, and how exactly to evade an attack in those moments of opportunity. You learn that patience and precision. And that level of adapting and overcoming is the appeal of a lot of these Souls games.
It is beyond reason, Atreus.
I don't think you can stun block that.
Try freezing it next time.
Thanks.
Freeze today. Trust me. Quick, grab it. Down. He's getting up. Look out.
Okay, that sucked.
Okay, guess let's see why they locked him up now.
Ah.
Do not show mercy.
Well. Another thing that I also don't like in this version is that this is a new gen game, more or less. There is no body damage, no destructible terrain unless the few like times that you can actually get. Like, why is this world so static? You know?
Hey! Hey! Gotta pull it! Back up! He's on his feet again! Looks like he's getting ready to attack.
Okay, I didn't see that coming. Ah, let him combo me. People also want to say like this is soundtrack of the year. What exactly about this is good music? No offense. Ah, I almost had it. I'll spend the resurrection stone. I almost got on my first try too. It's just that this fight is so long, it's not particularly interesting. I was nowhere near that shockwave, I'll have you know. Ah, okay, that was that. Yeah, I don't know why this game was nominated for Best Soundtrack. There has not been a single track in this entire game and in 2018 that is like, oh man, that's a bug in my ear. I am humming that, I'm thinking about it. Oh, this game has a checkpoint. I think it's the first boss I've ever seen having a checkpoint. You know, this entire fight I wasn't even locking onto him. Ah. Oh, come on. Like, when you're in the middle of being stunned, like, there's no chance for you to counteract that extra stun, you know? Can I put a rocket in? So let's see, when I'm not convinced as bad as I'm sincerely enjoyed Ragnarok. Oh, I'm not telling you. So for example, there's no way to fail these cutscenes. I can hold this forever, because there's no consequences in this game. In fact, I can literally explain to you, like Celestial, I'm not here to convince you that the way you feel about a game is one way or the other, but I do question, do you not see the glaring flaws in this game? Because there are glaring problems with this game. It's fine to like a game despite its flaws, but there are glaring problems with this game that are inexcusable for the amount of hype people are putting behind it, that are conveniently looking past it to favor themselves on this game. One of which being that this game is impossible to fail. There's no point, like this is a cutscene action right here that I can't fail. I can hold this forever. I will never lose. This is an unfailable condition. I really feel like my victory is earned here when I can't fail. Like the level design, the usage of the enemies, the writing, you don't notice the like the glaring issues with all of it. We can let Atreus struggle forever because again, there's no way to fail this. It's hard to. I'm actually sipping this tea that I have to the side right here. Like, it's kind of, like, not to be throwing shade at it, but don't you think it's kind of a low skill tier, like it's really intended for? A game that you can't fail? Like, who is this really organized forward, I wonder? Also, narratively speaking, if this wolf can tear between dimensions, how come when this wolf was fearing for its life, it didn't just tear between dimensions for itself to save its own skin?
It didn't have to end that way. It's my
Again,
fault he's
isn't that
not
kind of
loose.
weird to you?
That he's dead.
It's kind of weird to me.
Sometimes there is no other way.
I know.
It's just that it feels less like I'm accomplishing something really cool and badass, and I'm just letting the game take the wheel and show me Kratos watching something interesting happen while I'm in
Another locked door.
no position to really feel like I'm doing something amazing. And I have a level 6 shield and I'm still level 4.
Alka! Guess sigil arrows don't work on that.
Do you have an idea?
Maybe we can use my sigils to carry the frost to the gear.
Yes, I know that. Oh, damn. Do I have 3? I thought you could use 4. I have to space him out more.
This is not working.
What about the counterweights? They could make a bridge for frost.
I know this game. That's another thing too. It doesn't bother you that this game solves all of its problems for you. It gives you very little agency as a player to solve things at your own pace. As soon as you encounter a puzzle, while you're in the middle of solving it, it solves it for you. You don't have an issue with that.
They told me Heimdall intended
Not to sound confrontational.
Heimdall? The Norns? I thought you didn't believe me.
But I really do feel like that's a problem when it comes to overall game design. Because what was the point of putting a puzzle there if it's just going to immediately solve it for me, you know? Especially when there's no way, and all the accessibility options this game is so proud of, that you can turn that off. Hey Boo, how's it going? How am I enjoying Ragtime Kratos? It's occurred to me that this is a story, this game is about us watching Kratos watch other people do things. This is a tonally focused, or tonally confused game.
Gotta go. Come on, through the hole in the floor. Hey, back. What do we do?
I do not know.
We should run down the tunnel.
No?
Do not stop. Run.
Where?
Stairs. Outside. Hurry.
Wow, that felt very close. Oh no. Actually, I kind of want to see how long I can just like not do something. That was a close one, guys. Uh-oh. This could be it for Kratos. Never mind. Gameplay doesn't matter. That's true. As we've seen multiple times, did you know that you actually can't fail any of the quote-unquote QuickTime events? You actually can stay there forever, and the game will never actually fail you. There's zero tension in any of these QuickTime events, because you can't fail them. You can actually put the controller down, and the game will either auto-complete it for you, or just wait for you to press A button. You don't even have to hold it. Don't let that distract you, that Kratos is probably in mortal peril right now. It just takes so much weight out of your actions. Like, not to be rude, I'm just literally waiting for this game to get good. I wasn't dodging that. Come on, game.
Come on. Stay down. Stay down. Keep coming back!
That is his nature.
You gotta change that! Back! It's like he doesn't have a soul to kill.
He doesn't have a soul to kill.
How? I need you to help me get on his back! What? Trust me, please! I got this!
You do it your way then.
Watch out for those shockwaves! How long can you keep this up?
Did I not do all of them? I did do all of them.
Don't you want to rest?
You get health back. So it's the Avengers? I don't know, I didn't play the Avengers.
Now's our chance! It's done! Grab him!
So just so you know, I didn't actually press or hold X. The game just completes it for me.
Please work, please work, please work! I'm sorry!
I'm literally not pressing anything. Because there are no consequences in this game. This game doesn't matter. That's funny to me. You can't fail this game. This is an unfailable game.
What happened?
We gotta find him. Come on.
Did you know you could be God of War without pressing any buttons? Oh my god.
Well, guess he came this way. Let's find another way up.
What did you do?
At the house. The spell you saw me do when Fenrir died. I didn't know it then, but I accidentally put his soul into my knife. Souls are powerful, so I thought maybe Fenrir's could...
Change its nature.
Yeah, let's see if it took.
Or remember when the whole gimmick with Helheim was, again, you can't rely on frost. You had to manipulate the winds of hell. There were tons of undead everywhere. Like, there was a gimmick.
In my arms. Dead.
Oh, finally he's telling him.
In Jotunheim.
What? You knew? That's why you've been training me so hard.
One day, you will have to survive without me.
Not gonna happen.
Training him so hard they lost every single one of their techniques from the last game. Again, must be Fimbulwinter, lol. I hate that writing. Again, the writing in this game is just consistently bad. I really do, and I'm not even being ironic, I really do want to know why people think this is good writing. This is a good story. Please, please tell me why you believe that. Because we haven't gone a single arc without seeing problems. And I'm not even like a super hardcore God of War fan like other people are. And those are the people I'm concerned of the most. Oh, he has pupils now.
You're okay. Sorry I hurt you. It's over now. I promise. Fen? That you? Boy. Yeah. I missed you too. Didn't know if that would work.
So can the giants really actually ever die? Because clearly if a soul could be transferred in and out of an object, does death even mean anything at this point? Especially since, like, Brock's soul was partially recovered.
Is this possible?
It's giant magic. I've been learning things.
In Asgard.
No.
This has nothing to do with that.
More secrets.
No. A promise. One that someone's trusting me to keep. Like you kept your promise.
I think people believe a story is good because of all the Norse mythology crammed in. Mythology equals good storytelling in people's eyes. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Because this is very loosely based on Norse mythology. It's borrowing. It's as relevant to Norse mythology as Final Fantasy is. with its usage of Norse mythology terms, words, phrases, monsters,
When the Norns told you Heimdall was gonna try,
which is to say, not very much. Like, it's kind of a cool factor
but that's not who you
for a
are
lot of
anymore.
people. Like, oh, it's super cool that, you know, this thing is named like Mjolnir.
But I will do what it takes to keep you safe.
So that's the prevalent thing you will hear over and over from Kratos in this story, which is, I will keep you safe. It's not like in the previous game where it was do better. Do better was the thing Kratos kept saying, which is another thing that I think was very bothersome because according to this game, Kratos didn't even come up with that. It was Faye. He was just mimicking his wife Faye. Again, this game thinks it's cool to treat Kratos as an emotionally frail, mentally weak, physically decaying man.
My guess is Soul Blossom.
I'm not picking flowers in Niflheim.
Great, it's open. Maybe we can use the sigils to freeze the gear up there.
I know that. We've only done it 3 times already. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Father, if you can't trust the fates, why do you care what they say?
Comes to your life. I can take no chances.
Oh yeah, that's Rosvelga right there. Let's talk to the big bird. I think I heard somewhere that
Should we talk to her?
Rosvelga was supposed to be the boss of Helheim in the last game, but they just couldn't get it done for constraints.
Rasberger! Garmulesa Kerku!
Looks like there's no soul in this bird too. What if you fed it a soul and be your friend?
She says there's 6 tears to close and, not to expect thanks. They shouldn't have been open in the first place.
She is not wrong.
I will say there are story beats that hit hard for a parent. Oh, I'm sure. But here's the thing. Like, I get that, because in the last game they went with that as well. A lot of, like, Kratos adjusting to become a father. Like, you could feel a journey even if you've never had a kid yourself. That's how good it was portraying that. That you could still empathize with a situation that you yourself were not put in. That's good characterization. That's part of the good writing in 2018 God of War. What they are attempting to sell in this game is that Kratos will be a frightened ninny if anything comes to hurt his precious boy. A perspective that has not been sustained or supported at all in even the entirety of the last game. But they start off this game like that, where Kratos is helpless, scared, fearful, desperate that his kid's a teenager. And going off and having parties with alcohol. And talking to girls. You see what I mean? That it's a very tonally confused game. It's not about being God of War. It's not remotely about it. It's about you watching Kratos watch someone else have their own story.
I have been falling back into my old ways.
No, you haven't. You have not been falling back into your old ways.
Angry. Distrustful.
That's not how you were.
With you. Now and before.
Because the reason Kratos didn't trust Atreus last game wasn't because he was angry at him. He was concerned because his boy was small and he was weak, and he was trying to keep secrets from him, and he didn't earn his faith either. Atreus wanted to be like, I'm a big kid now, due to his impatience and his over-emotional state.
I don't know why I thought I could do this alone. You were right.
No.
I feel like they're trying to write Kratos as the father the writers wished that they had growing up. And not necessarily writing it as Kratos as a father. 26 more days, by the way. Shout out. I didn't even notice you in chat earlier. How you doing?
Was the one who was not ready.
Because of the difference between writing the father you wish you had growing up and Kratos as a father. There's a difference. The last journey was writing Kratos as a father. It still felt like Kratos, but it felt like a person like Kratos growing into the role as a father, as clumsy as it was. This one does not feel like Kratos adjusting as father again, especially since, by the way, they've been training together for 3 years straight since the end of the last game. I want you to know this. According to this game, they've been training together for 3 years. There is no foundation for this conversation to be taking place here. It doesn't make sense.
I need to know you'll be okay without me.
And that's kind of what they're setting up here, is they're setting up Kratos as the dad who now is going to have empty nest syndrome.
I am sorry.
Don't be sorry, Father.
Don't say be better. Oh my fucking god, that was not earned. Seeing that was not earned.
Nothing is written. That can't be unwritten. Remember? We shouldn't let prophecy define our choices.
Then we will make our own destiny.
You see what I mean? When they first wrote the artificial drama between Kratos and Atreus that could be just simply discussed out, they chose now, after having an arbitrary, you don't understand me, we split off, I run away from home, you're worried about me, sitting at home crying that I'm not there, moping about what I can be doing. And then we come together and then we have a conversation that most people would logically have, even emotionally have, where it's like, hey, sorry I've been oppressing you, you know. And Trey's like, it's okay, I made mistakes too. And then they hug it out and move on. That was a very contrived ending to a very contrived situation. And you expect me to be impressed by that writing. The pacing is just so bad in this game.
Did you want to take care of anything before going back to Sindri's?
No. First, we retrieve Mimir. Then you can tell us what you learned in Asgard. After that, we shall see.
You really do think of him as a brother. What about Freya?
No, he doesn't.
Seems like she moved in while I was away.
Once she turned her hatred back to Odin, she recognized our interests were aligned.
Huh. I tried convincing her of that, but...
When was that?
Oh,
You tried convincing
Before I
her of
start
that, but the
telling you
story
where I
wouldn't
was
let
in
you because the story needed to involve Kratos.
Hey, she didn't kill me.
I said nothing.
There are too many instances in this game that should have been handled by Atreus, and they chose to give it to Kratos for no good reason. Other than this game wanted you to play as Kratos.
You're back. How did it go?
We should trouble us no further.
Well, that's a bloody relief. So you put down old Garm, did you?
Yeah, sort of.
Atreus, your decision to go to Asgard after all he's put us through. I'll never understand it. But I hope you at least came back with something we can use.
I hope so too. Come on, let me show you what Odin's up to. Here's what he cares about most. More than Ragnarok or anything. Is this mask. Anyone recognize it?
That thing? Ugh, it's a dead end. He's been faffing around with that since before I knew him.
Ozzy
To be
Sindri
honest,
knows something.
I thought the Giants were just having a laugh with that one.
Okay, fine. No. You're wrong, Mimir. This mask is no fraud. The Giants didn't make it, and only a few of them ever glimpsed it in their visions. They never knew its origin, but some believed it was a way to gaze into the secrets of creation itself.
How would you know that?
It's an oracle.
Much, much more.
How much more? Tell us.
Imagine becoming one with a source of infinite knowledge. This is why Odin tortured me.
Why? What do you know?
So what do you think? Know it?
Is nobody gonna follow up on that?
No. It's one obsession he never saw fit to share with me. But I'll tell you this.
Really? Because it's in the basement for
Even
everyone to
when
see.
Odin speaks the truth, his purpose is false. Either way, it's a mistake to let it distract us.
I kind of agree.
Is Heimdall our focus or not?
We will rewrite our fate another way.
Then I'm going back to Vanaheim.
Alright, see you.
If we're not taking the fight to Odin, I should help my brother stand against him.
Your brother isn't really standing against him, though. He has like 5 misfits that aren't doing anything but faffing about a campfire, saying that they're fighting the Aesir, when I really don't see that happening.
Father, I'm gonna study my notes on the mask, see if I can think of a plan. But if you want to go anywhere, I'm with you.
No, I'm good.
And listen, everyone, I'm really sorry about the way I left. You know I've never hurt any of you on purpose.
Well, when you could turn into a bear by accident, I suppose these things can happen.
Oh, he took off his bandages that he's had on for a while.
Me?
Of course, Atreus.
We know you meant no harm, lad.
Sindri?
I'm sure I will. Eventually.
So dramatic.
Guess I'll take it.
Like I said, this game is written like a soap opera,
I hope that I can be forgiven for not doing more
with
than
about as much
outlaws
intelligence as it goes into daytime
Whatever
TV as well.
reservations I have about violence, they shouldn't apply when your home is under attack. And certainly not by undead abominations. Yet I reached for a shield instead of a sword. You were right to chide me for that, old friend. The next time the moment calls me, I'll be ready.
I'm positive
Well
this man,
said,
this
Tia.
man is mind controlled. What bothers me about this, though, is that nobody's asking Tears the questions that people in Freya, Mimir's, or especially Kratos' position would be asking him. No one's talking to this guy and asking and really grilling his information, reluctant as he is. That's what makes it all the more weird, is that even if he is mind controlled, they're not asking him like the way they like kind of decipher through Mimir. by asking him about Baldur in the last game. Again,
Let me upgrade our axe for you. Can't stand to see it looking like that. Let's make something then.
okay, I'm gonna pause real fast, take a quick water break. Everyone else stay hydrated. We'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. They could have just removed Tyr from this game altogether. That's just it. Half of this game you can remove and you lose nothing in terms of the story. So let's begin. No, I'll do this afterwards. I'll save this afterwards. I won't do this now. Remind me though. Remind me that we can remove half this game and the story doesn't change. That is how worthless half of this game's writing and plot has been. If you don't believe me, stick around to the end, and I will explain to you, quite lucidly, how that is. Half of this game is useless in its plot. At least I refunded my Resurrection Stone. Also, that Garm fight? Boring. He does the same like I told you, every single major enemy does the same 3 to 4 attacks ad nauseum. And once you see it, there's nothing else to see. The fact that I was able to beat that thing pretty much on my first try, and while I'm under-leveled. I'm still level 4, and we're fighting level 5 creatures with level 6 gear in the world still. I'm under-leveled, and we're still getting by, not like perfectly fine. Obviously, I have to fight a little bit harder, but it kind of like it shows that it really doesn't matter. I'm not like a cracked gamer for doing this. I didn't even have half of my amulet set in. Yeah.
You are well.
Take more than a port full of bone-chawing stiffs to keep me down. What am I gonna
God
do?
of soap operas. That's how it's written right now. It seriously is. Unchained FPS, at a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the story of this game?
Nudged, more like.
Below average. Because the overall plot is nothing to be impressed about. It's simply about Atreus trying to find a way to avert the prophecy he saw at the very end, which shows his dad dying. And it also is him trying to realize more about this plot that he believes he's involved in concerning him, quote-unquote, being this champion at the end of Ragnarok. Kratos' whole thing is, I don't want my son being hurt. And so he spent 3 years training him with literally zero progress. Honestly, I question Kratos' teaching methods at this point. This plot has been undermined by several arcs that have nothing to do with that plot, that are neither interesting nor relevant, and chooses to distract itself with side stories of side characters that do not matter. Deus Ex Machina that come in to just force a Kratos into the story when he's not relevant, and take away development from Atreus even though it's his own story. The storytelling in this game is subpar. It's not terrible, god-awful, incomprehensible. No, it's not that dramatic. It's not either or. It is subpar storytelling with what should be a simple and fairly straightforward plot that is okay to have extra, twists and turns, but there are no twists. There are no turns. It is a spoon-fed, railroaded, quote-unquote adventure that is somehow still tripping over itself in its delivery, its focus, and its pacing. It's also strangely a quote-unquote action game that spends half of the game watching Kratos watch somebody else do something important, or us watching the game load itself between the various methods it hides its loading screens, be it slow walking segments, walking through a hallway, crawling, shimmying, climbing, that in and itself is not interesting, but they try to fill the void with dead air mumblings. The banter is absolutely a step down from the wonderful tales of Mimir and just exploring everybody's personality in the last game. You don't get any of that charm here. There's more bickering and unnecessary drama that's brought in just as forced as it is gone out, as we just saw with the whole Kratos and Atreus quote-unquote communication misunderstanding nonsense. It goes for some cheap writing. Like I said, this writing is on level of daytime soap opera. It is schlock. I am appalled that people consider this good writing. But hey, it's all relative, right?
We travel to Vanaheim.
Great. You gonna check in on Freya?
Yes.
Glad I get to come this time. So what happened the last time you were in Vanaheim? I still don't know how you got Freya to stop trying to kill you.
We traveled to her village to break Odin's spell. Once freed, she accepted that I was not her enemy.
You also missed a highly entertaining moment where Brock was lifted arse over face in Freyr's camp.
You met Freyr? What's he like?
Useless.
Different from his sister. Lacks her conviction.
True. And he's a bit quicker to forgive.
But to answer your question, N-Chain, on a scale of 1 to 10, assuming this is a fair and balanced scale, where 1 is, just terrible, unredeemable, 10 is flawless design and execution, as well as content, and 5 is just average, like you can see this just about anywhere, it's mediocre. This would fall... I would say the 4 range. This is below average story and storytelling, because the plot itself is simple, but from that simplicity, you can have an engaging adventure that uses the story plotline as a hook and brings you to more interesting twists and turns along the journey, like the last game did with its focus. Like, okay, we just need to climb the tallest mountain, not a big deal. But along that way, you have a whole series of misadventures, detours that give opportunities to more interesting sub-adventures. You have had none of that in this game.
Beautiful. And, wet.
It is also dangerous.
More dangerous than hell?
Kratos sounds a lot like the father from Mass Effect Andromeda. What do you mean? The father from Mass Effect Andromeda died in the first mission. Kratos is not dead, although he has died a couple of times, which again takes away from their meeting with the Fates that should have been Atreus' scene, and gives it to Kratos, and they're like, "You're gonna die, Kratos." And Kratos didn't shoot back, "I've been dead." He could have just said that. It's like, I don't care about that because I've been dead.
To the right.
No rush, is there? Not every day the lad gets to see a new realm.
See, every single twist and turn, this game tries to get you to go off the beaten path because it can only distract you from its very railroaded filler with other filler. And the incentive for that filler is loot. And the loot is just crafting, because you actually don't get loot like you do in the last game, where you find really exciting, like, high-level gear with unique sets and effects that combo with other elements in its own family to produce a really cool set to kind of mix and match. No, in this game...
Time to see how the Vanir have fared in our absence.
In this game, you just get crafting materials.
She can care for herself.
Amazing.
We're still checking on her, though?
Her brother's forces are outnumbered, and there is much I owe her.
You really don't owe her that much. And her brother doesn't really have forces. But did you wonder why we had to sail from that shore to this shore that's literally like 30 feet away? It's because anytime you enter the boat, it's a load zone. Anytime the game stops you to slow down, it's a load zone. Ever wonder why the door animations are very long and elaborate? It's a load animation. There's a lot of loading in this game.
Reminds me of a Vanaheim song.
Which is amazing to me because these aren't open areas. There's not a lot to load. These are very highly furnished hallways. And that's just it too. Like the level design of this game is from 10 years ago. It's just highly polished hallways.
An Yggdrasil seed to Muspelheim. Think it might lead to that combat arena we visited years ago?
And this game also does one of the most criminal things in storytelling, which is show, don't tell. Instead of telling us how Faye was this amazing warrior and she and Kratos like fought each other when they first met, instead of telling us about that, literally either show us, or better yet, because this is a video game and there's a level player agency, we actually play that fight. We play when Kratos first met Freya.
Where is everyone?
But they don't do that because this is bad storytelling. He just kicks over the bowl. These two have been training in a hyperbolic time chamber as father and son, but there are no fruits of their labor. You don't find that slightly bothersome, game? Because again, they tell us that they've been training for many, many years. They don't show us any results or fruits of their training, so whatever.
Kratos. Atreus. A welcome reunion. Unexpected, but welcome.
Who the hell is this guy?
You know us?
Can't be. Is that who I think? Oh, you shifty bastard. It's almost good to see you again. And for once in the shape of a man, or nearly.
So that's how they got your head out of your ass. Maybe now you'll stop being such a half-blind, piss-drunk, oversexed liar. He was more of a pig than I ever was.
I do not know you.
Do you not recognize your handiwork?
Hildisvini! Remember when we first met Freya in the woods? After I... Oh. I am so sorry about that.
Freya's boar.
Oh, he's the
Her
boar.
Advisor and friend. Counselor to the Vanir. And yes, while exiled at Midgard, I was trapped in my boar form.
Oh, okay.
And then you shot me.
At my command.
No. My arrow, my mistake.
Forgotten.
I mean, we did save his life immediately afterwards, right? So all's well that ends well. The way they wrote Mimir in this game is absolutely a step down. I can't imagine anybody who liked the last game and liked Mimir, who was easily the MVP of storytelling in the last game, honestly looking me dead in the eye and unironically saying Mimir is better written, even in the same quality in this game. All Mimir does in this game is bitch and moan and be sassy at people in a very mean-spirited way. It is so distracting. Why is he so sour? There's no reason for it. It's such a tonal change, and don't be like, oh lol, must be Fimbulwinter. I don't even.
We forgot something. We'll come back. Promise.
All right, let's see this amazing Vanir army that's fighting the Aesir.
She came here to help her brother.
She leads the search party for Freyr and Bigvir. They've been captured by the Einherjar.
How'd that happen?
Oh my god, I'm a dumb American, even I know not to pronounce Einherjar.
To make matters worse, the celestial wolves.
Fortunately, Freya does say Einherjar. But like half the other people in this game say Einherjar or something like that.
No moon.
But that's okay.
Just like in their shrine.
Their shrine.
These people are totally European with their
You want
accents.
us to check on them?
You have my gratitude. We're spread thin. And if anyone can help Skoll and Hati, he'd be a fellow giant.
Very well.
Freya mentioned you had a way past this.
And your option, I assume, is opinion. The voice actor sounds familiar. Or, oh, sounds similar. Oh, in terms of the voice actor. Oh, I don't know. Did Christopher Judge who voice the father in Mass Effect Andromeda? I don't know, actually. You'll have to look that up for me. I apologize. But I'm actually halfway curious to look. IMDb, I choose you. You know, for all the shit Andromeda gets, the combat was actually really good in it. That was another one where it fell flat in a lot of areas, but there was one thing it was actually pretty good at. It was the combat. The combat was good in Andromeda. Clancy Brown was actually the name of their father. So, not Christopher Judge. But hey, you know what? They could have a deep fatherly tone. They got that going for them. Your opinion, what do you think is better, God of War Ragnarok or Elden Ring? That's a very apples to oranges comparison. You're taking two different games of two different genres and comparing it. Like, you might as well ask me, so what's better? Tactics Ogre Reborn or Madden 2023? And you're like, what kind of comparison is that? Well, that's exactly what you asked me to compare. Like, you get two very different games and asked me to compare them based on what? Like, we need to focus our comparison a little bit more than that. That's not a slight against you, by the way, Unchained. I'm just pointing out how useless that question is. I'm trying to say it without sounding mean. But when you ask a vague question, the only thing you can expect is a vague answer, right?
Good luck. And don't shoot any boars.
You think he's really forgiven me for shooting him?
Trust me, lad.
Forgiven but not
If
forgetting.
the old swine still carried a grudge, you'd know it.
What happened between you two?
The usual. Miscommunication, conflicting loyalties, broken promises. Nothing to concern yourself with.
Wow, it's like the game is reviewing itself.
Just curious.
Curiosity's all well and good. But so is privacy, eh?
Okay. Point taken.
No, Mimir. Who was the person who kept on harping about every other person like hiding their private affairs in the last game? That was you. And now you're like, oh, when it comes to me, I want to be private. Damn it, it's almost like the people who wrote this game forgot that they wrote God of War 2018. Because there are some overlapping things you can directly compare the two on, such as combat, world design, artistic style, which, by the way, God of War has very impressive graphics for realistic fidelity. God of War Ragnarok has terrible art style. People need to realize that when you go for photorealism, that is not art style. That is the basis of what our real world is based on. So that's not considered stylistic when that's the norm. You don't get points for an art style when you don't have an art style. Also, I love how Kratos is holding nothing in his arms right now. He's cradling the air. Art style would be something like Bayonetta, would be something like Elden Ring, that shows artistic significance, artistic cohesion, something that's more than just looking realistic. Realism is not an art style. It is just the default way you can represent our world, is reflect it. There's nothing creative about that. There's a lack of creativity there.
Switching arrows! The wisp is making war of itself!
But no, tell me again how this game listened to the player base and doesn't recycle its enemies. Tell me again how it doesn't do that. Because that was, you know, only the third centaur person we fought with the exact same moveset, and I swear is literally the same exact person that we fought before. Tell me again how this game doesn't recycle its bosses. Just because you have several different trolls doesn't mean you're not recycling the trolls again.
But there's a kind of thickness in the air.
But no, tell me how they refined and polished this game. Amazing.
What?
Egros. Greek.
What Final Fantasy game had the best story?
I like it.
There are many elements to a story, mind you. I feel, again, we need to refine that. Because what we'd have to do, what I'd have to take the time to do, is we'd have to go through every single Final Fantasy game. And we'd have to compare the major parts of its story, such as how is the plot and the pacing of it, what narrative device do they use to deliver their story, which, by the way, is not really something you can compare easily because they do different things. That's like comparing a wrench to a screwdriver. Like, how do you do that? Because they do different things. They're meant for different purposes. How do you compare different characters that serve different things narratively? You can compare the usage of the villains, the plot that they have for it. And then we can probably total all those up. And then from that, maybe we can come up with some sort of like major scale, and then from there, then we determine what's the quote-unquote best. But we need criteria.
Left side, brother!
Yeah, and stay quiet.
Like, I want to have a discussion about this, but at the same time, like, be trying to focus on battle and also have a poignant discussion about characterizations in various Final Fantasy games is a little bit of an ask for me. I apologize.
Wonder where they went.
Eaten by a knocking, perhaps.
Doubtful.
Because I can answer you, like, what's your favorite Final Fantasy story? Who's your favorite Final Fantasy villain? Like, I can answer those. Those are easy, because those are just simple, subjective opinions that don't really need justification because it's my personal feelings on the matter. I can give you some additional reasons why that support my particular tastes, but that's like arguing, you know, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? And I'll tell you my favorite flavor of ice cream, what I like about it. But that's a completely different discussion from what is the best ice cream, what is the best Final Fantasy story. Do you get me?
Whoa, another legendary blacksmith? I bet she has some good stories.
Take caution, Atreus.
Let's try this one out. I like that it does more stun. Ooh, it does max stun? Damn, I like that. Oh shit, I upgraded the wrong thing. No, I did do the right thing. Okay, hold on. Let's try this one. That'd be more of a... Let's go with the maximum thrust. Increase our thrust capacitor.
She is quite friendly.
Oh, nonsense. The lad's far too young for her taste.
What?
I like Final Fantasy VI as a single player and MMO 14. I feel like the MMO one's a little bit of a gimme though, because 11 doesn't really have a focused story. Like, it's more of a collection of short adventures than it is one long saga. 14 is written as a saga. So, again, it's kind of a whole different beast.
You know, lad, this excursion into Vanaheim means you've now visited each of the 9 realms.
That's bad.
Guess you're right.
Not many mortals can claim such a feat. Not many gods either. Even your father has yet to grace the halls of Asgard.
I'm in no hurry to do so.
Otis Vini said both Frey and Big Veer were captured. Big Veer's the light elf who wanted to learn more about that library in Alfheim, right?
Correct. An exiled scholar married to a warrior, Bela.
Why was he exiled?
You'll have to ask him for the full tale. But I take it he and Bela's quest to unite their people was frowned upon.
Wait, Bela's a dark elf?
Yes.
Wow. Well, that raises even more questions. Hope he's okay.
Find the Noken! It's making these things stronger! Alpha!
Don't you run from me, damn it. Don't you feel the incredible power fantasy from a random ass, like, lizard tiger in the jungle that can survive the God of War's various beatings? Alright, sort of PFC sort of thing. Alright. Different F. Nope. that's the way to be. And I hit that. Alright, guess they're just invincible to my Leviathan axe. Let's kill gods. Ogre over there. Where is the last one? Don't tell me it's by this ogre. Oh no, it's just a weird werewolf man.
I felt that one, brother.
Tell me again how this game doesn't recycle from the first game when it recycles not only the exact same enemy but the same exact execution for it. This high budget game can't afford to make more animations.
Prophecy, which after our time with the Norns, we've all had quite enough of.
But Odin still believes. That's got to be why the Einherjar stole the moon. He's still trying to avoid Ragnarok.
Or he prepares for it, fights a proxy. Warn this realm to distract his enemies.
Yeah, or that, I guess.
This is so far off the beaten path. Nice.
Hey, near your barricades.
Aye, not a good sign. They've pushed farther into the jungle since our last visit.
It won't let you kill a monkey. The Joe original was that running animation. It's more like animated jogging, wouldn't you say? It's like a car driving, I know. You see, this right here is a loading screen. Oh, did I just go back full circle? I did, didn't I? I'm not even sure what the purpose of the compass up top really is, because it really doesn't feel like you're walking in any particular direction, because it doesn't necessarily move relative to where you are.
I can sense them up there. It's gotta be their den.
Excited to meet Skoll and Hattie, lad?
I've heard all your stories. It's gonna be weird meeting them in person.
Legend meeting reality. At the very least, it shouldn't fail to entertain.
You see this slow walking section? This is a loading zone. They also put a very scenic vista here, just so you to stop and look so it can load faster.
There you have it. The legendary celestial wolves. Supremely entertaining, as promised.
Remember their shrine? They didn't rejoin the sky until after the moon returned.
And then chased an arrow across the sky.
Right. Well, guess we go find the moon and put it back where it belongs, eh? As if that's a perfectly normal thing to say.
You see this shimmying part? The only reason why it's here instead of a normal path is because this is also a loading screen.
If memory serves.
But it didn't say where they took the box.
Aye, that's the rub of using prophecy as a map, isn't it? Bit sparse on the details.
There's a war camp in the nearby village. A strong fortress to guard their bounty. We will try that first.
But besides Hildesvini and the elves, who else is part of Freyr's army?
Not much army, really. Although Birger was a soldier, once walking the path of a traveler. I imagine he's handy with that
walked straight into that
enormous
poison
broken
mine.
sword of his.
A traveler that doesn't want to kill us. That's nice. Alka.
Ain't it your head?
I'm ready.
There you are, see?
Switching!
Let's try this. Oh, I need my Blades of Chaos. Thank God we had the Blades of Chaos for that. Couldn't literally just walk over this rock and jump over the fence. But that would involve, you know, actual good level design to trust your player to jump, but they don't want to do that because they want to keep you grounded in these hallways. Because that's better game design, right?
Did you see that? I didn't know they could do that.
A new enemy.
Stay alert. Yeah?
Correct. Fitting.
There she is again. Guess they know we're coming. I can't believe no one's here.
They hide.
The Vanir aren't all hardened warriors like our dear Freya. Those who survive the warfare find it easier to hide in the jungle and use nature as their shield.
It's a good reason to not actually have to animate any sort of village or anything like that that we can visit or interact with. Same with the dwarves. You have this whole dwarven village that when you're, you know, driving through the boat, you're like, wow, this looks so cool. You can't visit anywhere, you can't talk to anyone, and you can't actually go through the village. It's not really a village, it is just a scenic wallpaper. I am so tired of games that do that, where it's like, wow, look at that amazing thing over there that you can't interact with, visit, or in any way feel significant other than looking at it like it's wallpaper. So tired of the many games that do that. It is exhausting at this point to even bring it up. Like, how many times can you be impressed by something you can't actually do something with? I thought I was playing a video game. I can't be impressed by being in a video game and being told what I can't do and where I can't go, and then be told I'm supposed to be impressed. Like a museum piece, look but do not touch.
Where'd they all go?
At this point, I'm just making general complaints. not actually purposefully
There's the
against
moon.
things.
Box? Down there. That's gotta be it.
And also, you know how sometimes you walk into a room, like in like ironically a lot of third-person action games or shooters especially, and you know that there's going to be a fight here because this is not a natural environment. This is clearly meant to be a video game arena. That's not good in terms of an organic video game setting. It's clearly a video game, and it's like, what, you're playing a video game? Yeah, but if you want to claim this is a lived-in village, then you need to basically make it a lived-in village. You wouldn't have random shit thrown across here that's obviously meant to be a combat arena for enemies to spawn in.
We can get to it from up here. Look out! Halt.
Okay.
Bifrost?
Behind you, brother! Left side, brother! Watch out! Left side,
Right side! Incoming!
Such gore, much wow. Ah, shit, I hate that. Bifrost is such bullshit in this game. Enemy just gets like free stagger damage on you.
Come on, Kratos, off your back.
That's the one thing I do not like about this game in terms of the elemental stuff is the Bifrost damage. It feels like such a cheap way for the enemy to just catch up and damage to you.
Wait, there's the moon. Box? Down there. That's gotta be it. Go! Halt. Dead! Bifrost!
Oh my god, these guys just come out of nowhere.
Bifrost, behind you! One more to go. hoping that puts a dent in Odin's forces, at least for the time being.
I don't think Asgard's running out of soldiers anytime soon. Ready to put the moon back where it belongs? Okay, yeah. That is a weird thing to say.
This game is a 90s sitcom after school special where the kid joins a gang and learns a lesson. I may just steal that line from you because that is so appropriate. I was talking about this being a soap opera, but you're right, this is more like a 90s sitcom. It even has that fake ass resolution where the dad's like, "I'm sorry, son." And then they all kiss and make up at the end, like right before commercials happen. You're totally right.
She's gone again. Hurry, we gotta get across.
Hurry, he says, like this game has any sense of urgency to it. I raised a kid with lots of jokes, apparently. They always said Loki was a funny man. "10 out of 10 game, everybody. Amazing pathing. I'm gonna keep this for footage collection when people tell me that this game is flawless. And then I want them to be angry and salty and say, I just made this up and I
What about from over here?
I don't know, what about from over there?" Good stuff. Ooh! He just disappeared. But no, please continue to tell me how this is a fully polished game.
There. She's going up the waterfall.
Damn, it's a shame my god-killing spear can't do shit. God.
Careful, brother. You're covered in bifrost. Behind you, brother.
Still up there. Another ambush? Really?
Third time's the charm.
They are not smart.
This game isn't also very creative. And this is kind of the thing, is that look at this jungle. Is there anything about this jungle that screams Vanaheim? A mystical jungle with magic. This looks like a generic ass jungle. This could be a jungle from anywhere. Oh, you see that popping? Up top. Yep, modern day system.
Almost exactly how we saw it play out back in Skull and Hati's shrine. The wolves are back in Vanaheim. We're rescuing the moon.
Yes.
Like, I'll be perfectly blunt. Whenever people like tell me, certain games are absolutely the best of the year, it just kind of tells me that this must be one of the few games they even played this year.
Dictate our actions.
Yeah.
Our allies need help. That is our focus now.
Is there a reason why?
Brother, we've taken a wrong turn. Our thief's gone skyward.
Yeah, but I want to drop down there, where there's clearly a grapple point. Because, you know, this game has amazing sense of exploration, right? It has total freedom. But like I said before, it's okay if this is people's game of the year. It's okay they think this is the best game all year.
Careful,
Because all it tells me is that
Oh, I felt that one, brother.
Left side!
and I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm just critiquing something analytically. It'd be like, hey, have we even seen a good boss fight yet? Wow, this is only the 8th next step animation. You know how many people get their neck snapped in this game? Like, that's the only animation they feel like putting in. It's such a PG-13 game. This is rated M. It's okay to be a little gory. It's okay to be bloody. It really is. This game is so afraid. It's like it wants to be a family-friendly God of War game.
It's cold. Is this? It's from Helheim. Heimdall must have grabbed this while I freed Garm. I was there, but I didn't know.
And now you fight to undo the damage. Your guilt is misplaced.
Yeah. No, you're right.
We can return to the den through here. They will pursue. Keep your guard up.
Father, how are you so sure we even have a choice about what we're doing?
Doubt is a weakness we cannot afford.
Who said anything about doubt? So far, we've done everything the Giants said we would.
We make our own choices. Nothing forces us.
If it's what you wanted to do, then why do you care? Why do you care if you're under the impulse of somebody else's prophecy?
Behind you, brother!
Switching arrow!
I always forget to detonate those things when I do a special attack on them. You see how even though I'm under-leveled, you can still beat just about anything with runic attacks and just chaining them? Because this is a very high-skill game.
But what if, by doing all this...
Because instead of just mashing R1, you can just mash triangle, or you can mash L1 and R1 and just beat the game.
Would you turn your back on the wolves? On this realm?
Why do you care?
Our agreement.
I wonder how much input Kratos' voice actor had in his story motivation this time around. I'd imagine nothing. It would be cool to have a shield with the spear. I do have a shield. But if you're talking about, like, why don't I have, like, a 300 giant-ass shield? You actually can in this game. You can actually have a really big tower shield and hunker behind it while you're poking with your spear. You can actually fight like that. However, I prefer a much more aggressive style of fighting, a little bit more high risk, high reward. So I chose the smaller, slimmer parrying shield that you see me using, because I'd much rather just be parrying things. Because stunning things and countering things in this game, to me, adds a lot more to the how quick you can resolve fights. I'm not finding it terribly interesting to hunker behind a shield and slowly poke things to death. Oh, it's a scene from the trailer. Isn't it crazy how the moon was just hanging out there in the middle of nowhere?
Just like inside their shrine. If I do this,
Fate only binds you if you let it. Do what is necessary.
But Dad, I don't want to start Ragnarok. I want to hold hands with girls.
Elsa.
Good choice, lad.
Remember when we came to this realm to figure out the pathetic army that's threatening to fight the Aesir in the proxy war that doesn't matter? And we ended up just kind of freeing the moon while we're here, almost by accident? Because that's grid pacing, right?
Way to call them anytime we need them.
Why is this even a QuickTime event? Like seriously, why is this a QuickTime event? Well, it's not exactly quick, it's just a forced. He should shake it like a rattle.
Feels like they want us to use it at one of the altars.
You're the one who can communicate with animals, you tell me.
So in essence, they just gave us the keys of dusk till dawn. Not bad for a day's work.
We should head back to Hildesfini and tell him about all this. Yeah?
Yes. Back to the cap.
Look out! Switching!
Right side, brother!
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That was a waste.
Yep. Very eager.
Where's the person attacking me? Oh.
Aye, give him what for.
I hear the crow. Or I hear the raven. Where is it? You see I'm still level 4 and all these things are level 5 and they have super armor and it really doesn't matter because I can just runic attack through everything. Because this game is really not that tactically deep at all. There's no incentive to do any of the quote-unquote weapon trees or the elemental bindings that they want you to do. I haven't charged my axe with frost. Oh, remember when they said they don't recycle enemies? And they're recycling 2 of the same enemy? Okay, you want to stay in the water? That's fine, stay in the water.
Shield up!
Enough of that. This is very exciting combat. I'm just mashing R1, by the way. Oh, okay, you can actually fail. That's something new. Because I didn't hold it and went back to the first animation. So there we go. So executions you actually have to input. I apologize. There is an interactive game element to this. If I was attempting to mislead you in my slander of the potential God of War epic, God of War Ragnarok, featuring the God of War Kratos, known as the former God of War. Notice how I took on 2 mini bosses that were absolutely recycled just by spamming runic attacks. That looks cool.
So, we report back.
But no, by all means, tell me how the pacing of these fights are well constructed. Tell me they're good level design.
Okay, but Odin's not gonna stop searching for masterpieces.
That is his concern, not ours.
Sure, but if that mask offers all the answers,
Then he'll surely exact a price. Be wary of shortcuts to knowledge.
But not shortcuts to power. Did I ever tell you how I literally did nothing to earn this spear? I literally walked up, a mermaid took it, and honestly just made it and gave it back to me. This god-killing spear that, you know, remember how I told you in the last game that for literal, like, my entire last 6 games, I keep telling you how there are consequences to killing gods, and now in this game, there's apparently no consequences to killing gods? In fact, fuck, I killed the god that actually, or the guardian of the world tree. Literally no consequences. It's almost like the people who wrote this game didn't play God of War. But no, by all means, tell me how this game is thoroughly written and well researched in its characters.
No, only the carnivorous ones.
who's that?
Ah, that wrinkly mug belongs to Helka. She's a blowthunder. Hounds prized for their pinpoint accurate tracking abilities. You'll love her.
Kratos, Atreus. That eclipse was your doing, I take it. Thank you for coming. Big Veer used the diversion to escape. What about
Firm
your brother?
handshake, looking her in the
You know
eye.
where they're holding him now. Bela's already prepped the explosives. If you're with me, we can leave as soon as you're ready.
I could use another shapeshifter's help.
Go with him, Atreus. I will aid Freya.
Yes, sir.
This game was designed with Wikipedia as a source material. I feel that way. Dude, just look at the recap this game provides to recap you the first God of War, or maybe first the previous one. It is pathetic. That's the reason I'm like, god damn. I wasn't planning to make a God of War recapitation, and this game inspired me to make one because it did such a terrible job of its own.
Oh, hi. Hey, your little one. Well, he's a cutie pie.
Should have seen him a couple winters ago. Ain't even at eye level no more.
Oh, you hush. Ain't nothing wrong with a growing boy.
How come all the other dwarves are like freaked out by Brock and the fact that he's, you know, died once and came back through Sindri's help, but like she's totally cool with it.
Y'all change the ding-dang time of day? Okay, well, that's impressive.
Brock, when you knew Faye, was
Let me stop
You have to be a game journalist to fully appreciate the cinematic masterpiece. Man, I tell you what. If there's two bits of marketing slang that I absolutely hate, it's masterpiece and AAA. The moment you hear anybody use the term AAA unironically, like they literally believe it means something, you do know that you're talking to somebody who has no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Because AAA doesn't mean anything, it's a made-up marketing term.
So, bro, if Lunda can
You might as well
step
put in the
between
word
elves and
blast
travel about like
processor.
you, I presume it must be the guild you know each other from.
Maybe.
And super polygons and other bullshit terms that are there to sell that don't actually mean anything.
You don't know us, Clever Pants.
Lunda, if you happen to know how your life
And the problem is there are
dark elf
people that
friends came
really
to
take
be
those terms like AAA seriously, so much that they literally make up terms like AA and quadruple A. It is so asinine. It is so cringe. But you know, you still hear those people out because they can still deliver a good point even if they're speaking like complete idiots. You can still make a good point. It doesn't, there's no purpose to be served either because they spam that garbage down so many people's throat that they're just like, oh, well, if the industry uses it, it must be good. Look at literally any game developers conference or shareholders meeting or any of that sort of stuff behind the scenes. They don't use the word AAA. You know why? Because it's a made-up term that you use with consumers.
Something that made him step off it. Hard.
Any idea what he saw?
No, I'm not sure, but I think he saw what was at the end of the path. And, didn't care much for it.
Finding out Odin was pulling their strings all along probably put a colossal kink in his codpiece.
Game journals say masterpiece like crooked politicians say folks. You got it right, Kalama. Damn, you're just acing it today. Alright, let's see what we can upgrade. Oh, Blaze of Chaos are upgradable.
Hot blades coming up.
I'm still not level 5. Oop, almost level 5. Kind of weird that you have to upgrade X much shit in order to be level whatever. Oops. You know, I haven't put any upgrade into Freya, and it literally doesn't matter. But yeah, like, see, like this, you can have his tower shield, and it's all built for, like, absorbing attacks, so for people who like to hide behind their shields is what it's built for. I'm not like that. That's not how I prefer to fight.
For the goddess. You know what you want?
What I want is to upgrade my garbage. Oh, what was that thing that I was saying that I wanted to do? It was the one that... Yeah, here we go. Hitting enemies with a runic attack has a chance to drop a stone. I kind of want to do that. Because I don't even do combo finishers anymore. I'm all about spamming the runic attacks, so this will be good for keeping the health up. If I did this side quest, I would probably go with this armor set because poison actually is really good in this game. Especially for someone like me who's underleveled.
That'll keep your bits in all the right places.
A good fit.
Damn, am I good?
Oh, I'm level 5 now. Look at me. What was this thing called? Gip, I can't even pronounce that. We're just gonna say Gip. We'll wait a little bit. I'm running low on money. Ugh, what a gross. I don't like any of the breastplates. Like, it just looks... I know Kratos in the past during his Spartan days did wear, like, full chestplate armor, but I kind of like the bare-chested look. Ooh, runic and attacks stack a buff to my base melee and range damage. That's something I do a lot. I should do that. Oh, but it's a really big drop in terms of my defensives and offense because I'm basically going for... So I'd be trading my immediate strength for stacks of damage. No. Because I don't want to switch necessarily to heavy attacks and light attacks if I can help it. That's a really good bonus, though. Immediate chance to just reduce 70% cooldown. That is pretty nice. That is pretty nice. It just looks so ugly. We're not going to upgrade any of it just yet.
Good fit.
I went down to level 4 again. Oh well. Not like that's really paused me from being incredibly effective at all. If I can get more health and damage and rage back, because that's all it is. Like, if I need a health boost, I just rage and get it back, because you get rage back so quickly in this game. Which is one thing I do like, is you can use rage as like a meter for regaining health, and I appreciate that. I think that's a good call. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Damn, we are 20 hours into this game. And it really doesn't feel like that much better. Alright. You can level down on this game. Yeah, I know. Because, you know, that's what everyone likes about God of War, is balancing your gear score. That's what the game's all about, right? Your gear score. That's what everyone plays God of War for, is upgrading your gear score. Not finding loot like you did in the last game. Upgrading with materials for gear score. Anyway, we have visited all 9 realms as... Oh, hold on. Let me stop this recording.